Greetings, TCL. Welcome to week 4 premier matchup between Team Jungle Control and Team Front to Back. Should be an interesting match. Headlined by wonderful players like A-Barn, David, TJ, Reform Bully, Spirit, and on Jungle Control, Tranimal, who might go mid, might go top. We'll see if he wants to win or not. Little Garrett in the jungle, Control in mid, Tactics in ADC, and Matthias in bot.
Yeah, that was all a lot of great words, Frugier, but let's all know, or so we all know that the real drama today isn't who's playing who, but who is going to be flaming who by
Yes,
10 minutes into the game.
that is a good point. We do have all chat enabled for tonight, so we should get some spicy stuff going on. Just a reminder for everyone back at home not to say anything mean about any other teams. We don't want anyone's feelings getting hurt. We just want everyone to have fun.
Okay, but actually about the matchup, both teams coming up of tough losses, if I remember correctly. And I'll be interested to see how Team Front to Back actually manages to pull out what they've been trying for the last couple of weeks against a team who's more primarily focused topside. Last week was a little bit interesting with Tranimal sort of looking to carry game one quite heavily, but feeling unable to do so in games two and three, while his bot lane, in my opinion, did a relatively good job. But it's going to be an interesting matchup as that goes.
Yeah, I mean, Team Front to Back coming off that brutal 2-0 from 12 inches team. I mean, wasn't particularly close either. It was a really convincing win by the other team, and generally when that happens, you kind of like rethink your theory as a team of like how you want to play. But I don't know if this team can really afford to do that with them being really centered around A-Barn and TJ's play, who was kind of lackluster last week. But on the side of Control's team, yeah, Tranimal trying to be that hard carry. More than showed up in game one, though. Had a great performance, but fortunately couldn't replicate that in games 2 and 3. Maybe a little tilted. Been there. Happens. But both these teams are really vying for a win. Can't afford a loss at this point in the season.
Oh, okay. Well, it looks like teams are finally gearing up to get into champion select here, so we can stop sounding like fools, talking about things we barely understand.
Yep, true. Good
Hopefully, get
point.
into League of Legends.
Alrighty, we'll just
Oh,
okay, here we
there we
go.
go.
Uh I mean, in terms of bans, could see them targeting A-Barn in the form of maybe a Jinx or a Kai'Sa ban. Maybe not Kai'Sa, getting nerfed last patch. LeBlanc ban right away. Pretty standard against Control.
Oh, my stream has gone to pixels, so as I figure that out, please
Oh,
keep
and
going
there's
in the
the
chat.
Kai'Sa taken away from A-Barn. It's pretty interesting given all the Kai'Sa nerfs in the past couple patches. Really,
Yeah, I'm actually a little confused by that. Definitely because I think that while Abarn is really good at the champion, it doesn't really fall into the meta nor the style of play that Team Front to Back has been really predominantly using for the past couple of weeks.
yeah, I mean,
Up
they
until
found
here.
they found some success on the Kai'Sa, but it really felt like their comfort lied in a true, more traditional ADC, not really a dive the backline, maybe like a Jinx or something other than that.
Dare I say front to back ADC for sure?
Yeah, dare you say. Not a bad point. And
Now
here we go.
I like the Lulu ban coming out. It really stops the cog Lulu in its tracks that they did a fantastic job on in game one of their match last week.
Yeah,
Mordekaiser
very
ban's
successful.
pretty standard. I think that champion is pretty useful at all points in the game, regardless of game states for
Or building
and
Bramble Vest and Oblivion Orb at the same time.
uh, well, hopefully we see if that repeats itself.
Oh,
Until
and that
then,
Ezreal coming out B1, it's pretty straightforward. Very strong
mhm,
champ, even despite the nerfs this past patch to Sunder.
I will be interested to see whether or not he builds Sunder, as I know there was a lot of discussion on the
Triforce?
Ezreal Reddit, yes, as whether
Oh,
Triforce is actually better than
Triforce.
Divine Sunder.
Wow, more DPS once you get it stacked, yeah?
Yes, but if I were to guess, I would say that he's going to go to what TJ prefers with the Ezreal build, which is completing Manamune, especially now that damage in Divine Sunder is nerfed, before
Yeah,
building into that Divine Sunder itself.
nice. I hope we get to see that adaptation from Abarn.
You see the Sivir and Jarvan coming out. I like it at the same time. I can't help but feel that Jarvan could have been helped for a little bit later in Champ Select, as I don't think it's going to be a focus by
Priority,
team front
yeah.
to back.
I don't really see it being a priority pick that TJ would try and play, but who knows? I think he'd more. Oh, and we have a Rumble Hover.
Well, even more spicy. It looks like Abarn and crew have finally let Spirit
Play Bard, yeah.
play his Bard. I know he's
I,
been begging for it, and it's been
I
vetoed
know
time and time again.
David's just teasing.
Of
I'd really
course,
like to see this pick though. Yeah, the Nocturne. I could see.
that's standard.
Oh,
Oh,
oh, wow. Okay, Rammus. Very, very interesting. Um, Recently got changed with the change to his ult. I mean, maybe they think it's a good counter to Jarvan because he might trap his own team in. See what
uh,
happens.
I must say, it really does confuse me. First of all, I am biased. I think Nocturne's an incredibly strong pick, both in the meta of like professional meta, as well as within the realistic meta that TCL's been playing in. I don't like the Rems pick B3, mostly because again, it's something completely unexpected, and I think getting on to Sivir alone is difficult enough. Let alone now giving Team Jungle Control 3 picks to deal with it, such as the Cassiopeia coming out, the grounding and magic damage just being a really good answer to an early Rammus pick.
Yeah, I was about to say I actually love Team Control's draft so far with the Sivir. I think Sivir is one of those champions that actually got secret buff this past patch with like the just destruction they did to Shirelia's, taking off 30% move speed.
Mhm.
It's just like when like other thing, it's addition by subtraction, right?
Well, I mean, not to mention, beyond the move speed nerfs just Australia's, all the move speed nerfs coming across the board.
Yeah, it's
Champions with
just
relatively less mobility will be stronger from this patch forward.
yeah, it should be really exciting to watch. And like a Sivir on the hunt combo with Little Garrett, there's really no counter engage you can do because of the miasma from Cassiopeia.
Mhm.
That should be. I really want a Silas ban.
Uh, Stylus ban obviously targeted at Caridian. I'm not sure
I'm not a huge
if
fan of it unless they
can't
have
say I
some
would like it in the
really
comp so far.
unless an R4 R5 for team control comes out. I feel like that Silas pick could have been more harm than good.
I would expect.
Wow,
Yep, it looks like Team Front to Back has
the Kiana
sniffed.
ban.
Well, it looks like they've sniffed out the Cassiopeia top. I heavily expect that
Oh,
to go
you
to
think?
Tranimal. Yes, I know he's been a big proponent of it for a long time, considering it one of his own best
Oh, wow.
champions. And I haven't seen Control's play too much of it, so I expect it to go there, and I'm interested to see what Control ends up picking here.
So I'd love to see Tactics lock in a support here. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Okay. Now this really puts Reform Bully in a tight spot. He has to. Oh man. Not a lot of champs you can get away with picking here that Control doesn't. That Tranimal doesn't have a counter pick to.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is Matthias's first time pulling out what he considers his own signature champion in the Yumi. It'll be interesting to see whether teams can actually, or whether front to back can actually look to punish this, as it makes the laning
Lackluster and the
a
Karma.
little bit too much. I think the Sivir and Yumi, while very safe, is certainly a possible weakness that TJ can look to exploit.
Yeah. Does Ramesar doesn't disable towers like Woolly Barrow, right?
Nope, certainly not.
Okay, thank goodness. And a
Hmm.
Karma top,
No, yeah,
barring the Azir
yeah, no, you're
changing.
right. No, I didn't
And a
notice at
Karma
first.
top for Bully. Wow. Didn't know that was in his wheelhouse.
Well, I know that several very, very, dare I say, hyper intelligent people have been propping up the karma pick across the board. Don't know who, but I just word of mouth. So I'm happy to see it finally catching on. Although, as you pointed out, I'm curious to see how the Shirelia's nerfs go forward and whether or not he's going to be looking to pick up that item now, or if he's going to move to a more,
Yeah, a more
what I
tank
hear is
style
going to
build.
be, or just a more standard Moonstone, back to a traditional Moonstone, I should say.
I really
I
like the
honestly
changes to
think
Moonstone.
I think Moonstone is definitely the right choice on Karma from what I hear, but I stay one and I stand to be
Stand
very,
to be
very correct.
corrected.
Absolutely.
Yeah, another intelligent person told me about a certain Karma build that ended up getting nerfed several patches later. So that person may be right about how to build Karma. Maybe.
Let's see.
But
I'm back to pixels, so give me a little second while I figure that out again.
we've got so just some comp notes, double AP for team control. Really pretty good against Rammus. The real only attack damage threat will be Sivir. Jarvan obviously becomes more utility past levels 8 to Around level 12 is really peak Jarvan dealing damage points, and then obviously level 3. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like this Rammus pick is kind of bizarre.
I think it's very bizarre. Overall, I really like Team Jungle Control's comp, mostly because I think that Team Front to Back, especially after the Cassiopeia pick, could have predicted an AP heavy comp, or at least held off on the Rammus pick until they saw whether or not Control would look at those AD assassins. Now it feels in an awkward spot where they don't really have a front line capable of managing the Cassiopeia should it not fall behind. And so my expectation would probably be for TJ to look to camp topside early with the Karma priority and look to put Cassiopeia behind. That being said, he can play to his team's what I would consider win con with A Barn and late game team fighting. But I don't know if they're stronger at that right now from this first perspective.
Yeah, no, definitely. TJ 100%, them being blue side, start as red buff, maybe even look to get a cheese gank early on the Cassiopeia. I don't know what their damage situation looks like. It's obviously pretty low, but we'll see if TJ makes an adaptation to that in runes and really tries to go after somebody early. Because I feel like you really have to get ahead with this comp to find any success against this comp that Control's team has built. I mean, it's pretty brutal to play into, honestly.
And unfortunately, I can't say I'm very knowledgeable on the exact jungle passing between Rammus and Jarvan 4 in this meta. I haven't seen those too often, let alone that matchup. But what I do know is that TJ's almost certainly, unless Reform Bully plays a little safer, have priority in that top side for his early clear. So unless Jarvan goes for perhaps a early 4 camp into gank, that TJ should be able to push the tempo of the game in the early, which is what he does need to do, as you said, to snowball into this mid game.
Yeah, definitely. And with a weaker bot lane, like a Sivir Yumi, unless Ezreal Bard just literally right clicks at them level 1, they should have priority in all 3 lanes.
Well, and I must say, after level 6 especially, although it can happen before, I really hope to see TJ looking for the dive bot. I know it sounds ambitious and aggressive on paper, especially as we're still waiting for the spectator delay, but the Yumi Sivir against Bard R for the turret into Rammus dive, which at the very
Yeah,
least turrets
Rammus
do the physical
taunt.
damage. As turrets do physical damage, Rammus can be very effective at tanking those, while letting Abarn look to get a really strong lead. I wouldn't be surprised if they go for early aggressive plays such as dives even pre-level 6, but I think post-level 6 is definitely the move to look for.
Yeah, definitely. You really want to invest in this Ezreal pick, like especially after like the slight nerf to him this patch. Like the more resources, the better. It's an extremely powerful pick. It's your win condition here. Get Ezreal ahead. Get Ezreal ahead. Get Ezreal ahead. If that lane falls behind, this game is very, very difficult.
I mean, theoretically, I do think what we haven't who we haven't discussed very much is Caridian, and it's interesting because I've heard a lot of players, including his own teammates, describe him as more of a coin flip player who can look to take over games. And I think that if that Ezreal doesn't look to get ahead, despite its ability to play safe and scale, that it really will be on Caridian to try to find the damage in these team fights. That I think in his previous matches he hasn't had the most agency in finding. He's done a great job of following up with Abarn and his team, but it might be on him to look a little bit more aggressively in this mid game and look to hopefully begin to look at that 1v9 coin flip David that I hear about from scrims, but have yet to see on stage.
hmm And a couple notes here. Summoner choice. Caridian opting for cleanse over a TP against Ari with controls ignite electrocute. So he's definitely going to be looking to pump out the damage there. And a cleanse for Sivir as well. Some interesting choices there. I guess targeting that Rammus. Cleanse
Yes.
obviously doesn't work against Tempered Fate, so that would seem like a bit of an odd choice.
Yeah, it's
But here we
interesting.
go.
I think it's good. I mean, it looks like Tactics is trying to preempt the Rammus ganks and perhaps dives that I pointed out a little earlier. But as you said, it's not the best against the Bard R. But with Yumi, you already have 2 free combat spells, so it really lets her have that little bit of extra flexibility and safety.
Yeah, definitely. And they really aren't looking for kills.
Oh, we got an
Hence
interesting
the
level one.
yeah, we got a. Let's see what we have here. Maybe trying to look for this Cassiopeia early. Something they
It
say.
looks like
Ooh, here we go.
Team Front to Back seems to be trying to abuse a little bit of tilt they might have put into Tranimal earlier and put his little mentality way early, perhaps? But it looks like he's going to sniff it right out, and they're going to be forced to back off.
Yeah.
I would
Just
have
moving
liked
as a
to.
fine man unit. I'd like to see Tactics and Matthias move into the river. Oh, here we go.
There we
Try and
go.
get
I
some
was
early
about to
ward
say.
coverage. And maybe a possible late
Mm.
invade on the menu. Here into the top side of Little Garrett. But no, just a couple wards exchanged. Just trying to spot out that Jarvan early pathing.
Mm.
Maybe
I
two a little
honestly
bit unnecessary, but we'll see.
Lord. Mm.
Alright, and we looks like we're having standard lanes with it's gonna be a blue start and a red start respectively, so both junglers gonna be pathing topside this game.
I think I would have liked to see, and of course I missed a little bit on the timer, so I'm not sure if it would have been uh, able to happen. But I think I would have liked to see Control back and pick up the sweeper specifically so that he can get level 2 off the first wave by clearing that, and look to push the tempo and, as we said, prevent that Rammus from finding any early comfort.
Yeah, I agree, and on the side of both sides actually, I would have liked to see Spirit and Matthias back for an early sweeper as well, if possible. But not so.
Yeah,
We'll see if they make any changes in the future, but pathing gonna be very known for both junglers.
it almost looks a little bit superfluous vision in the top side red jungle coming out from front to back.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what I said. Oh, and a nice Bard stun.
winning an
Connects.
early trade,
Take it,
that's
take it.
great for team front to back.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want from team front to back. Yeah, getting that early prio for Rammus just to be able to clear, possibly set up a double scuttle and just put the Jarvan in the ground. That would be a huge deal in terms of targeting the Jarvan in his jungle with this bot lane, or targeting the bot lane rather than the Jarvan to try and get that lane ahead. But regardless, we'll see what happens.
So it does look like Jarvan is going for at least a 4 camp here, skipping over the Raptors.
Yep. And something to note, the wards expired on Jarvan's camps by the time he got up there, so looks like TJ's positioned to counter this. Both junglers on the same amount of camps. Little Garrett's got prio first, lands the W, powerball into Little Garrett, just some trading going on. Oh, maybe a possible flash to come. Oh, flash from Little Garrett, flash followed by TJ though. It's gonna be first blood going down. Control
It's
trying to
really good
follow,
looks.
takes down the Rammus with that Serpent's Fang. Just a 1-for-1, but your Cassio top has double buffs.
That's a little bit unfortunate if you're bullying exactly what you'd like to see from Team Self Control, even if it's not how they wanted to really get
Another
there.
Bard stun coming out from Spirit.
I can't say I'm a fan of looking for that trade, though. I think the wave's in a little awkward spot for it, and that's all you're going to get. But I like the aggressiveness coming out of Abra and Spirit, as they really should look to punish what has so far been a relatively weak side bot lane for Team Jungle Control in their past matches.
Something to note in this mid lane. Look at Caridian going at Control. Built up a Sol CS lead. Chunking Control out when he's got the cleanse and he has the ignite. Oh, but here we go. We have Little Garrett moving to the river. We'll see if he can land. Oh, the Demacian standard does not land, but the W coming out. No flash from Control to try and go for that charm. Just a little chunk on Caridian.
And again, it's great. This is what I like to see from Caridian. He's really putting that, as you say, pressure on the map and absorbing some of the jungle time that Little Garrett has available. It delayed the first scuttle, which really prevents all chances of him moving across to look for that double scuttle. Or even for the invade.
Oh, and here we go. We have a gank down bot lane. Taunt coming out. Powerball. Oh, and the heal cleanse. And the all summoners burned for the bot lane with Tactics and Matthias having to blow everything to get out of there. Here we got Little Garrett going straight into top lane of TJ right away. I like to see this. Get the counter jungle on early and often. Build a lead.
And now, I guess Reform Bully is sitting at full health. I was wondering if they were going to look for anything up there, but definitely not with how that lane is at the moment.
But nice.
Still hasn't backed for her nice little gold lead she's going to get from that, not first blood, but that early kill.
So she probably should have lost chapter gold here. That's probably with the buy. Ooh, Verdant Barrier.
Verdant.
And a
I am not a fan.
Yeah, I can't say I'm super crazy about that buy. You really expect him to pick up something like a... Am I wrong here? Picking up a lost chapter?
That's what I would believe. Let's see, he might not have had enough. Correct me if I'm wrong, Verdant is 1100?
Yes, Verdant I believe is 1100, but the Dark Seal being 350, so that was a 1450 buy.
Exactly, you're right. I missed the Dark Seal purchase. Yeah, I disagree. I think that While Karma is a lane bully, I do not believe she should have killed Cryo, especially after the early double ups and kill go over to Tranimal. So I'm interested in how defensive he seems to be playing. But it works for his idea of trying to play and scale for the late game.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Personally, I'd prefer to see a Lost Chapter refillable buy, just to get the maximum value and sustain out of that lane. Maybe start to go at the Karma and see if you can out-trade it. Build up some pressure on the map that little Garrett could potentially provide a counter gank in.
Now that it does look as if both junglers are relatively even, despite, I believe, little Garrett finding that nice little invade topside.
Here we
And
go, we got the
TJ
sweeper's
not really
lens.
responding.
Little Garrett, you're on top of a ward? Okay.
He spots it out if a second later.
Yeah. Maybe he had to do the old eye rub. I've been there too.
Ah,
Some long nights sitting on control wards at 2 a.m. It happens. It happens. Oh, and here we go, Spirit moving into the river. Noticed something, note spell shield already burned by tactics, so if TJ was to go for a play here.
It looks like little plays coming on a Caridian, and he's going to just back it off and be perfectly safe.
Caridian, nice little. By the end of this wave, it'll be a 7 CS. Sorry, 7 CS. 6 CS advantage over control.
This isn't much, especially when you're looking at the Ari as she hits level 6. And I would hope to see her start exactly like this, to roam and pressure with her.
Are we going to start the
ultimate
dragon? Yeah, and here we go. We got the Cloud Dragon started out by TJ. Early Cloud Dragons always point to a powerful soul, be that ocean, infernal, or mountain. And here we go, Tactics trying to challenge this dragon. Not really sure if that's what you want to do against a 4-man unit. Oh, and Caridian going in with the Shurima Shuffle brings back Tactics, and he's going to go down.
And that's exactly what I don't love to see. I do enjoy the fact that Tactics is looking to contest what he can. At the same time, it's always important to recognize when you're better served, picking up advantages somewhere else on the map.
That's just a real head scratcher, if you ask me. I know summoners on your Sivir and walking into River against a 4-man unit.
It just looks like a little bit of lack of communication, I would guess, on the side from Control, as they can't make the direct call whether it look to contest or not.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Control picks up the blue buff. He's level 6, he has Ignite. I would love to see him either try to go for this kill on Caridian, but with the cleanse make it relatively difficult, or to find these roams topside to look to put Tranimal a little bit further.
Oh, here we go! Ari going in. Oh, solo killed by Caridian. Oh my goodness.
I mean, that's exactly what you'd love to see coming out from Control, looking for the solo kill, but at the same time...
Oh, but that's the doomsday scenario. Oh, that is... Yes. You just got donated the blue buff as Ari. You really want to just sit back and clear some waves, but then you go for a solo kill, blow both your summoners. Azir doesn't even have the Shurima Shuffle. You go down. God, I would be tilted.
I would definitely be tilted. It's going to be much harder now, Control walking back to lane, dealing with a 2-0 Azir sitting on the blue buff of his own, which now lets TJ take it for himself as he gets his own and look for to contest his scuttle against little Garrett.
Oh, and here we go. The Jarvan Flag and Drag combo used right away. You can't really look to contest this little Garrett. TJ's just going to smite it away. Nice. And go back and collect a blue buff of his own.
Let's check in on his bot lane. It looks like Abar is starting to build up a relatively significant CS lead for 9 minutes, but not one that I think is going to have a significant impact on the game.
No, nothing. No 30 CS advantages at 10 minutes or anything, but definitely enough to see that there's a clear lead been built there and some really impressive Bard play out of Spirit. You know, guy who is. Oh, but we're gonna have to hold that thought. We have the 2 supports sitting in mid. I don't really know what the Yumi's gonna. Oh.
A little bit of lack of communication as the Earth come later, but the Yumi comes out.
Bard's gonna get away in the. Oh, but TJ's R'ing in. He can't really get out with that miasma down. She flashes away after it. Oh, a big petrifying gaze from Tranimal. No stuns, just the slow.
It looks like after all of that, it's going to be a big 0-for-0 as both teams look to just try to contest this wave and probably reset for a little bit of lack of more aggression, I would expect.
Yeah, and we've finally hit the 10-minute mark. We've got that Herald on the menu. We'll look to see if oh, you built a big control lead. No pun intended. As red side you. Oh, but the Ari going in. Oh, Control picking up the shutdown and the double kill going down to Control. Oh, that's exactly what you need to get back in the game.
Yep, that's wonderful. I would like to see them move for the Herald here, as I think 3-manning for the first couple of plates could be a relatively inefficient use of time after that great play, as they could look to open up mid by moving to this Herald. But at the same time, you're right. It's exactly what Control needed. Gets the shutdown on Caridian, gets himself back in the game. And all the meanwhile, Worst Tactics is still sitting botches. He's not being punished for these roams by both supports. And it looks
No.
to be a great little advantage coming back into the hands of Team Jungle Control.
Yeah, they really clawed back in these last couple minutes. I would have liked to see Red Team go for that dragon after that big one fight with the double kill going down to Control and mid. I feel like you could have just sat Control on the mid tower and pick up solo plates while you have Jarvan and Yuumi take out the Herald, because it's super easy objective to take early.
I
Really
agree.
deceptively simple.
And of course, I forget the exact values, but the armor goes up the more people you have around taking the plates. So
Yeah, it's
hard to
definitely
see the
don't want
exact
to be more
trade-off.
than 2-manning plates, but here we go. We got both junglers in mid. Charm missing, but the flag and drag. Oh, little Garrett R's in. Oh, and the Tempered Fate. Delaying the inevitable. Oh, ooh, Spirit. I do not
Living
know
up to
about
his
that one.
reputation. In case anyone doesn't know, Spirit is known for being hard flamed by his teammates for the amount of kills that he secures in his own words, and he certainly lives up to the hype here.
Oh, God, you burned the Bardar. And then, oh, I'm not a huge fan of this play.
I just looking to push them off. I would like to see A-Barn freeze this, but I guess the wave's a little far off. Let's see if they hold it.
Oh, wait. Spirit, hold the wave?
We see Dragon coming up in some amount of time that my screen is too pixelated to catch. Fruge, please pick that up for me.
Yeah,
The timer on Dragon.
looks like we've got around 3 seconds. Okay, that was quite pixelated. I couldn't see that.
Okay, so that is for you too. I did not know if it was just myself.
Yeah, no, but the second dragon available, it's an ocean dragon. We're going to be looking at an earth or an infernal soul. Be interesting to see. Obviously, an infernal soul would be great for the side of Team Control, but
Infernal Soul looks to be great for both teams, honestly. You have both the Ezreal and the Azir, as well as the Karma, just adding a little bit of damage if they could eventually work for that.
Hold that thought, power ball coming down. Let's see. Oh, and he R's in. TJ's going to miss, but the Yuumi on top of Control, so he'll be the guy to look for to carry in this fight. Tempered Fate goes wide, and I'm thinking Team Control should... Oh, but here we go. Ari going in.
A lot used. I'm interested to see that Team Jungle Control is looking to contest this, as Tranimal remains top farmer in the Cassiopeia without TP. I am not certain I would like to see Lil Garrett go for the steal, and that's great as he backs off. Instead, they just pick up all 3 lanes of farm, and look to, I suppose, contest the 3rd or 4th to prevent the soul.
Yeah, and we're looking at an Earth Soul. So that's a lot of damage you would have really liked to have on the side of TJ. Because you've already got a low damage comp. Infernal Soul just adds so much value in team fights. Oh, but hold on. Control with the Yuumi on top of him. Gonna put out a large amount of damage. Doesn't have that R ability, but he's got his flash. Here we go. Flash, Orb of Deception. Oh, and Matthias gets the kill. Not exactly what you want, but they get the kill nonetheless.
Both supports coming out, trying to prove that they are, in fact, the carriers in this game. We have both Spirit and Matthias trying to secure these kills.
Yeah.
So yes, back to the Earth Soul for a second. It's definitely a little bit of a luck out for Team Jungle Control, in my opinion, as that Earth Soul shouldn't make a terribly large difference in how this game will play out. Of course, it's great for the Rammus, but as you pointed out, the additional damage from Infernal Soul and Infernal Dragons in general would have been far preferred for this relatively low damage comp, comp.
Yeah, so with Tactics going the Dark Harvest Sivir build with a more focus on the Boomerang Blades, it'd be interesting to see if he utilizes the Serpent's Fangs rush. And oh, here we go, but the Jarvan going in with the EQ combo. David maybe having an opportunity to stream a shuffle, but he will not. Had a slight window there with little Garrett's flash being down though.
I like this. I think that he might be a little, don't want to say traumatized by some of the comments made about his past stream of shuffles. And I don't mean that in a negative way at all, because I do think Caridian does a fantastic job of playing from that backline to dish out damage. And always moving forward to find it is not always his best bet. So I like to see the restraint in some ways. But yes, I agree. Most likely had the window to look for that.
So every time I've actually played with Caridian... Oh, hold on. Nope, nothing given. Form Bully just throws an Empower Q and walks away.
But Karma does decide to opt for the Shurelios, by the way, so that answers one question we had in our minds.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting. I guess trying to like counter that Sivir on the hunt, but we'll see. So Little Garrett's gonna pick up the Scuttle Crab, and Warm bullet?
Just look to hop back
Nothing.
over.
Yeah.
No?
Sweepers out the ward on top of the Scuttle Crab. Let's see if he picks up this other ward. Yes, he will. Tactics at risk of going. Ooh, Spirit. Ooh, Spirit. Ooh,
I can only
Passia
guess.
with the TP in. But here we
This
go.
would be a great
Petrifying
moment.
Gaze stuns. Petrifying Gaze somehow stuns. Not quite sure how that happened, but Tranimal's gonna walk away with his life, but had to blow that TP in, and now Karma's gonna get some pressure. Oh, but here we go. Spirit's going in. And Abarn's gonna get the kill. So
Now that's a lot of
whew.
cooldowns for, I guess, what they initially wanted, the 1-for-0 on A-Barn. But
So a lot
definitely a
of-
little bit of sadness going on with the
Get the eye, little
Stackables.
Garrett. There you go.
A-Barn.
Yeah,
This is fine. They're securing Rift Heralds on the other side for a cross-map play, looking to punish what they can at the cost of Tactics' life.
Oh, but here we go with the Powerball flash in from TJ. Taunts out the Ahri, but Yumi provides a lot. Oh, but the Shurima shuffle from David. Oh, but I think they bit off more than they can chew. Caridian's gonna go down. TJ burns the R. Oh, he's gonna go down too.
Dare I call myself a prophet? but
Disaster!
Viridian.
What a disaster!
And this is a
Wait.
3-for-0.
Is it a
Poor
caster
team,
curse?
Jonathan.
Is it a caster curse if you spoke the inevitable into oblivion, or?
I don't understand. I'll have to ask Caridian after the match just to get his thoughts on the matter.
Oh God, cursed him.
And this is terribly, I mean, I don't want to say unlucky timing for Team Front to Back, because it was a play they looked to make, but with that Rift Herald being able to crack open both mid turrets and get a
both
crash on the inhibitor.
mid-towers. Jesus.
Luckily for them, it's not past 20 minutes and there isn't a dragon on the map, so
Oh, and I like the use of the tempered fade out from Spirit here, preventing it to crash onto that third tower. He's had a rough couple minutes, but that was a nice little play.
had an unfortunate couple of hours, but there we go. One hits and not only finds its mark, but allows for a positive impact on his team's communication, likely. Which, I mean, I find interesting, because he has been incredibly accurate, to say the least. Spirit has hit every Bardar.
He has hit every Bardar.
And solid on multiple people, whenever he needs to save people at the same time, unfortunately for him.
Fortunately, you
it's
don't
come at
always
opposite
want
time.
everyone to have Zonias, believe it or not.
Just because you can make the play doesn't mean you always should.
No, we should make the play. Yep, and a nice double stun actually coming out. He's opted for that Imperial Mandate. Is that surprising to you at all?
Honestly, with how little I've seen Imperial Mandate in the current meta, I forgot that item existed, so therefore being reminded it's in the game is in fact a surprise in and of itself.
I feel like a Shirelia's or... Oh, but here we go. Right away, we got control throwing the miasma over the wall. Is he going to take the Blast Cone into a Petrifying Gaze?
So this is the first dragon that looks like Team Sun
Oh, and a
Control is
nice
looking to
charm onto
test.
Abarn by control. And here we go, a big R from TJ, but it's just going to go wide right. Here comes the True Shot Barrage. Little Garrett, EQ in. Are we going to see the Cataclysm? Oh, and it looks like it's just going to be a 1-for-0 with Tranimal going down. But here we
Team
go.
Sun
Let's see.
Control isn't backing off. It looks like they still look to contest this dragon.
No
and
jungler lost, but no smites on either side. Oh, but Caridian picks some
Ooh.
tactics on the backside. Control going in, Tempered Fate goes long. Matthias getting that auto in to reset the Yumi passive. There's no smite up for TJ So Beast. Oh, but there's just no damage. Oh, Little Garrett, what a play. EQ into Cataclysm.
Well, I must say, what began as a good-looking fight for Team Jungle Control in the initial engage quickly turned sour as TJ managed to find himself on top of Tranimal and quickly take him down. That being said, while I am surprised by the fact that Control looked to re-engage that dragon without Smite around, the ensuing fight, 4-for-0. So overall, it turns out to be a 4-for-1, I believe, for the cost of Tranimal. That being said, it puts Team Front to Back on the soul point, and I hope to see them look to contest that in 4 minutes' time.
Team front to back. I don't know if they intended it, but with that dragon timer happening right before Baron spawning, but not in the window where you could do Baron, that's just such a backbreaker for Team Control, because that would be the freest Baron ever at 20 minutes if it was just a minute later that occurred.
And I mean, despite Control's early mistakes costing his only death, he now looks to be in complete control of this game as much as a single player can. I think he's done a fantastic job pulling his team out of what has looked like some lost fights with Caridian and Abar, really dealing some massive damage, and Control just managing to pull it back.
Yeah, Caridian, 1 second diamond, the other second dirt. Gouache is what you said about him last fight, and he turns around and really zones everybody out of that last fight, picked up the kill on tactics. I mean, you're talking about a coin flip. I mean, it's fun to watch though, because when When he shines, it's good.
And
But
that's what I mean. He's at his best when he's playing back, looking to deal that damage. By far at his
oh, but
best
here
from
we
what
go.
I've seen.
No time to waste. Little Garrett, EQ into Spirit. Spirit still has that Tempered Fate available.
And looks like nothing's gonna come from it. Just a
Traded
quick
Yumi
little
on.
skirmish and looking to back.
Yeah, but they got the flash out of the bar, which is a big deal. Can't look for that flash Q. So,
Now, I'm a little interested in the lane assignments currently. Tranimal's sitting on that TP. I think I'd like to see him move into the side lane soon as he
yeah,
continues to
definitely.
ramp
But
up.
oh, Spirit Rush from Ari. Oh, nice R from Spirit, delaying that charm. But it looks like the Miasma's going to go down, and Control's going to pick up another kill on A-Barn.
Fantastic. If you're going to sit Tranimal there, then that's the exact play I'd like to see. Looking for the Aura to go aggressive to abuse their number advantage as they see Caridian chipping away at that topside turret.
Yeah, just pulling trigger right away with the Ari. Just going in, following up with the Miasma. Good to see. And will we see the Baron start?
Talking about
For
pulling
Team
the trigger.
Control. Yep, they're
Very
wasting
decisive,
no
looking for the
time.
pick and straight to Baron. That's what I
Yumi,
like to see
a
now.
really great champion, really underrated on objectives with the E healing. Oh, but little Garrett, EQ flash in the Tempered Fate, but Spirit of
Oh,
Fate, the magical journey out.
I think that's the first time I've seen
Ooh.
Magical Journey be such, or the Jarvan are being laid so close to a wall that Magical Journey passes through both. A
Yeah,
little unlucky if you're little
I've never
Garrett.
seen that.
Good heads up play from Spirit, who I
Yeah, well played
suppose
by
assumed
him.
it would work.
Yeah, but record the note, Flash Jarvan burned. So it's a pretty big cooldown along with the On the Hunt, Cataclysm, but the Yumi are coming up soon. And controls Spirit Rush as well, so you know he's going to be looking for a play basically straight away with that again.
And it was a great look, especially to start the Baron and look for the turn. What I would like to see is a little bit more patience, especially when you look to engage with that flash Jarvan art. It puts your team in an awkward spot having to figure out how exactly they can quickly enter that fight and follow up on the pick. But it was a great idea, and I love the look and the decisiveness to turn immediately to Baron after the first pick.
Yeah, definitely. I kind of want to talk for a second about controls itemization though in mid. Oh wait, will I have time to? Yeah, we have time. Okay, that dragon is coming up in just over a minute though. Buck 13 left to go until that dragon comes up. But in the meantime, do you like controls optimization for
Horizon
going?
focus, I
Yeah,
assume, coming
Horizon
out?
focus over Death Cap.
I do, actually. It's something that I know the item itself has been slightly controversial, but Ari's Charm does, in fact, apply the Horizon Focus at,
Yeah.
I believe, I'm trying to remember the exact,
Oh,
it's
here
not the
we go.
max range, but
Ari face checking into TJ. Looks like nothing's
I
gonna
like
come of it.
taking control of the bot side jungle as they look to control this soul point drag. It's
Yeah.
great. I think it fits their comp exactly. It's fitting to do. You're sitting on a fed Ari, look for the charm, look for the pick. Don't let them have a chance at this dragon.
And big summoner advantage for the bots. Oh, is Tranimal's picking up Spirit and oh my goodness, what a fight. Here we go. Spirit Rush coming out of Ari. It looks like Calm is going to go down on the backside of the Ignite, but lives because of the shield. Control, legendary in this fight. And a 3-for-1 overall. And it looks
Well,
like
that
the
was
Dragon's going to go down to Team Control. They're going to delay
This is
the soul.
exactly what they needed. I'm a little confused on the exact sequence of events that happened in that bot lane to end up with him trading kills in a 1v4.
Yeah,
But
definitely a
fantastically
little
played to
confusing
look
as
for the
well.
trade kills and guarantee them this dragon to stop Soul.
Yeah, no, really big deal delaying that soul. I'd like to see Team Control piggyback this into looking for Baron Vision immediately on a reset after this. That way they can have a huge advantage for that next soul fight. Just kind of blow the other team out of the water. That way you can really build a gold advantage on top of the 3.5k they already have. But maybe be able to push that even further to where soul kind of becomes a condition for you to win the game.
I doubt it will go that long, but what I will say is I like how Team Jungle Control is looking to play what I would call simply, and certainly I don't mean poor, but I like the fact that for the most part they've spent the last several minutes grouped, controlling vision, playing off the picks, and really not letting team front to back find the fights they would like. They keep them on awkward situations, on their toes, and making them really contest some of these dark areas of the map in order to try to find their way in. That being said, team front to back can still find their way in. They have a decent comp for it. They have the Tempered Fate looking to come out for a pick. Of course, it's relatively difficult, but Tranimal does seem to be without his Zanyas. Although, sorry, he has picked up that Banshee, so actually hitting the Tempered Fate will be a slightly more difficult, as most players on Team Strong Control have the mobility to escape it.
Yeah, and I really like the pickup actually from Tranimal with this Banshee's Veil. Because I think against this comp where you don't want to get like flashed on, you don't want to get Tempered Fate. And just the damage reduction from double AP is just insane. Like, it's just such huge value.
I agree. It's funny how what we didn't like initially snowballing into
Was the
the
Verdant
Verdant,
Barrier, yeah, buying it
but
so
coming out
early.
with the Banshees, especially with the current leader position of the game state, does seem to be effective at
Oh,
really
here we go, the
preventing
Tempered
front
Fate landing onto 3, including the Yumi. But the EQ out from Little Garrett, and the Yumi are just providing perfect disengages to teleport him from Tranimal into the Petrifying Gaze, the Miasma, the Noxious Blast missing, so no Twin Fang follow-up.
And that was exactly
And
what Spirit
they're
of Fate
going
needed to
straight
look
to
for.
Baron. They're just straight
As
to
they
Baron.
should. Fantastic play coming out from Spirit.
I'm
Unfortunately,
not
they
a
weren't able
huge
to
fan of this
capitalize.
with Tranimal almost being and here we go, Spirit going for the Flash Bard Q. Oh, Little Garrett kind of by himself on the back end, but he's got the Yumi with him. Gonna go down, unfortunately. Shut down. Big R from TJ. Tranimal's gonna fall. Control chunked, but he's got a Yumi with him. Oh, David, the Shurima shuffle. They're gonna kill everyone. Is that a quadra kill? Quadra
Kill coming out for Avar. Wow. Amazing. As we said, this is exactly what they needed to find their way back into the game. More than find their way back into the game. Looks like they've controlled their way back. That being said, I still think the biggest problem so far with Team Jungle Control really putting the final nail in the coffin of their playmaking has been a little bit too over-eagerness coming out from Little Garrett on those turns, separating himself a little bit too much from his team, who probably has a much greater shot at winning these fights if taken a little slower, a little bit more patient, and having them have to funnel into you. But that takes nothing away from the fantastic play that we just saw from Team Front to Back.
I really would have liked to see Little Garrett. If you're gonna go for those kind of plays, just skip the Sterix. Go straight into a Stone Plate. If you're gonna go for those huge EQ cataclysms onto the backline, it's much better to just have a Stone Plate because the resistances that gives you into a 4-man R, I mean, that's the kind of protection you want for this front line they've built for control tactics and Tranimal.
Now, let's talk about TJ's builds for a second here.
Oh.
What are your thoughts on the second item, Thornmail, coming out against?
So, I believe the technical term for this is Cynic, is I believe what this purchase is.
I can't say I'm a big fan of it, especially because he does need the CC in order to apply the 60% grievous wounds, and it's not the easiest thing for him to really get on one of the carries.
See, I think what TJ's trying to do here is he's trying to cut down a great oak tree with a butter knife by building that Thornmail over something like a, oh, I don't know, maybe a Force of Nature, but no time to talk. Charm coming out from Control. Looks like, oh, is Spirit gonna go down? One more tick from the Ignite. Oh, the R, oh, but he's gonna go down anyway. TJ taunted on the backside, kind of exposes to R out. Exhaust used on TJ.
And again, it looks like great
he just went a fight soul.
It's great time pushing Team Front to Back despite the Baron off of Dragon once again looking to lay to the Soul Point. I shouldn't say it yet.
Oh, here we go. Caridian's gonna face check into Control.
Oh, but he misses the charm.
Something to note, Aborn just arcane shifted forward, so he's not gonna have that up for around 15
With 20 seconds on Dragon, I can't say I am loving Team Jungle Control giving up their priority on Dragon.
Tactics kind of by himself. Powerball into Kim Tank coming out.
Ooh,
flash away.
Damage coming out.
Oh, TJ, you're kind of in no man's land without that R. Charm by Control. Little Garrett going low. Aborn EQ in. Oh, but the Karma shielding is just insane, and Caridian taking him out with the, oh my goodness, Abarn with the double
flashing forward, find a double.
Caridian, really another Shurima shuffle. Looks like Yumi and Ari are gonna go down. 2 cats in a can.
I think, interestingly, both teams are playing well to their win condition, but relatively less well at avoiding their lose condition. Team Jungle Control did a fantastic job of getting control of that pit, but didn't put 3 mid, leaving tactics on his own in an awkward transition state, where it just let Front to Back walk right in.
Yeah, I feel
and
like
really
you built such a good comp for the side of Team Control, but you don't play around your strengths at all. You just leave kind of people out to dry and just must be a breakdown in communication or something.
Well, I mean, I think the story of this game isn't them not playing to their strengths. It's playing to their strengths, finding the first play, but then being a little bit lackluster on the follow-up and making sure they get the most out of their initial play. But on the other hand, Team Front to Back doing a great job of finding the exact plays that they need to force these team fights. And now they're the ones moving as a team to push down objectives with the last seconds of that Baron buff.
Oh.
Ooh. Control looking to make something happen. That ultimate's on a short enough cooldown that I believe it's just a fantastic look. It'll be back up before really anything of value. And as of now, it really should just be a little bit of a lull state, as
Oh,
Silver probably looks to take control of these, or
oh,
just to farm these super minions.
Reform Bully is making TJ look like a double center. He
The
bought the Chemtech
Chemtech.
Purifier. Oh, providing AoE grievous wounds. You don't even need the you don't even need the Thorn Mail.
Yes, and this
Oh,
is definitely looking a
why?
little bit more unfortunate. Ah, Abarn pulling out the Hex Drinker,
Yeah, I
interestingly
was just
enough,
about to
after
touch on
Ravenous
that.
Hydra. So we definitely see an adaptation coming to the meta Ezreal builds. I think I like the Hex Drinker as of now, due to the fact that really he's putting, I believe, a lot of the damage on his team's back when it comes to playing aggressively.
Oh, definitely. You cannot afford to be going down in this fights. And with a Hex Drinker, Sunder health being so high, Conqueror, I, I don't know how you kill this Ezreal anymore,
Now,
honestly.
something that I rarely remember to do myself, let alone point out in games, is let's give Spirit props for his vision control with a vision score of 92, doubling
Oh
that
my
of anyone else in the
goodness,
game.
yeah. Some of the Tempered Fates at times have been a little out there, but holy cow, he's really taken the map by
And him
got
going
it by the
Force of
neck.
Nature second, it looks like. Interesting
I'd
ideas.
hope that Spirit was at least making fun of TJ in this game. Oh, but the Tempered Fate coming out nice onto control.
Another one. Will they
Gonna
get the
burn that.
CP off
Oh,
in
but
time?
little
No,
Garrett.
the TP comes canceled from the destruction of the turret.
Oh, here we go. The charm coming out, but the Spirit Rush from Ari looks like she's gonna get away.
It's just
Bringing
going to be a
in
nice
the
little 1 for 0 on Triangle.
yeah, and
Now let's see what's going to
Scryer's
come from
Blink
it.
coming out. Oh, the charm onto David, but it just cleansed away, taking down the Azir to half health.
And they're just going to see this
I
inhibitor.
just don't know how you can
The
force them off as team
The
control.
Monster
You won't
E
have any
coming out,
damage.
gaining speed. I'd like to see Karma look to try to reset the passive for another monster on the way out. There we go, keep coming in. Just a little inhibitor back off, and I expect him to move, if not straight to Baron, then take a reset, and then move to take complete control of this Baron pit. And really really start to figure out how they're going to close the game.
Yeah, and I mean, I think they have the answer, truth be told. They've got double inhib down and top and mid. They're about to grab this. Oh, questionable blast count. Well played, though. Israel just going to arcane shift, or he's going to take the magical journey. And you're picking up Baron as a Team TJ. It looks like you're just going to go bot and close this one out.
And it looks like nothing Team Chunk Control can do to stop this. Elder Dragon's not for a few minutes, so they have a window, or sorry, Team Front to Back has a window to really close this game without much counterplay available. Now, if Team Zone Control manages to stall this game out until Elder, then of course they have the last gambit, so to speak, of taking that buff. However, with the comps they have, I think it's going to be very difficult in order for Team Zone Control to stop this, unless, of course, Control manages to find a fantastic pick somewhere before Team Front to Back gets their siege really underway.
Yeah, definitely. So I'd really like to see Team Front to Back close this out before the Elder Dragon spawns. It would make
Now,
me really
interestingly,
happy. I'm not sure what Team Control is doing in this topside jungle, though, as a 5-man unit.
definitely a little inefficient. It's definitely at least a little inefficient. But a brief comment on Back to Control's build as we wait for this siege to begin. You were talking about Horizon Focus or Rabadons. He's elected for the Horizon Focus and Rabadons, which I do have a little bit more of a complaint with seeing MR on the other team.
Yeah,
So far.
and that's where the problem arose for me. I feel like with Deathcap, you get the multiplicative effects with the Staff of Flowing Water and just the raw AP Uni gets from sitting on you. I just thought that if you
Exactly.
want the most raw DPS,
Oh,
but here we go,
sorry,
no time to speak,
that aside,
fight.
we have perhaps the last fight underway.
Yeah, here we go, triple inhib down though. So Superman is going to be flooding in by the dozens pretty soon.
And all
Tempered Fate
team
down.
front to
So,
back
but the
has to do
Shurima
is play
Shuffle
it
is
safe.
still up. We'll see if
Ooh.
David looks for a play. Hopefully he doesn't get overzealous or anything.
A single Mystic Shot looking to half health tactics there. It seems that this
Yeah.
is going to be a slow, relatively simple push to close out
Yep,
this game.
it's just going to be a slow grind. And there's not much. With
You see
double
the first
AP, it's
Nexus
really
turret
hard to
falling?
clear out these
They
Baron
have to
minions.
they have to take a look. Reform Bully is low. This is the best shot they're going to
Formally,
get.
yeah, this is it. It's now or never. You don't even have
You
any
know,
Nexus turrets left. The game's just
It
over.
looks like they're. Oh, here it comes. Here comes the final dish.
Oh,
to
here
try
we
to
go.
save the game.
Tactics
Tactics
flashing in.
flashing.
Form Bully, nice response, but looks
Nothing
like
they can do. A-Bar
they're
is
not on
just
the
too
same
strong.
side. Oh, David with the Shurima Shuffle, but yeah, it's just... Well, the game plays in the game. Oh, and they pick up the kill and the Nexus. Game one's gonna go to Team Front to Back.
Abon really laying down the law with that quick Alt F4 to get himself back into the next game's lobby. Really showing
Yeah.
his frustration with Spirit, still securing in that early game.
Yeah, I can't
But it
say
didn't
I
seem to
blame
do
him.
too much. Didn't
That
seem to
is
do too much impact as Abarn still managed to get fed. I'd love to see these damage charts coming up. And really, just a well played comeback and close of a game that I thought Team Shovel Control would be able to have a little bit more control over in that mid game. Yep, there we go. Abarn's damage strong, controlled, looking to carry his team. Unfortunately, not enough.
See, and I'm just a little surprised you're not dealing a little bit more than that with a Yumi on your back. I mean, David matching that damage. Control had a Yumi to show for it.
We
Only a
see
da-
Reform Bully really playing the, I can only assume, shield to win strategy, but it was a great pick to look to nullify the conditions which Control's team has recently looked to win, specifically through playing that top side split push, aggressive carry style with that weak bot lane. Abarn, team front to back, doing a great job of not only looking to negate that, but stopping it in its tracks when it did look to get ahead.
yeah,
I, I
when they
sorry, go
snuffed out
ahead.
that Cassiopeia pick in Champ Select, it was that was pretty well played, picking that Karma into it, really just nullifying that champion's impact on the map.
I mean, I think this bodes really well for Hunter back because I think in draft and item builds, they put themselves at an unnecessary deficit, I would say, specifically the Rammus build and
Yeah,
early
they
pick.
kneecapped the hell out of each other. I mean, they they contradicted each other on all the builds. Reform Bully has ascended, and now his teammates have picked his strategies in terms of building Sinner
Uh,
Grievous Wounds items. So maybe the Monstars took that to TJ. Not sure.
and I'll be interested to see the adaptations coming in for game two and whether or not Team Jungle Control sticks with a relatively similar comp that seemed to be working for the majority of that game and just tries to change up a little bit about how they played it, or whether they're going to say that wasn't what we wanted and look for a relatively larger change in how they're
Yeah,
going to play the next
the
game.
second they got that lead with those two shutdowns onto Control and Little Garrett, and of course one on Tranimal as well, it was curtains. Gave that Ezreal exactly what he needed. That quadra kill, maybe a little bit of misplaying on the side of Team Chunko Control at that fight, but you can't afford to do that against the Ezreal pick.
I mean, I just have to imagine that the comms going in or moving into this game too for the side of Jungle Control are really going to focus on that. There's no need to be over aggressive at the wrong times. You find the right plays, stick to it, take the advantages they give you, and don't really risk losing everything you've worked so hard for on, I mean, dare I say, coin flip plays or plays that don't have a really clear team idea
Oriented idea,
identity.
yeah, I know what you mean.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'd really like to see them shift away from that solo queue style of kind of leaving tactics out to dry on that Dragon Soul fight.
Exactly.
Just
And again, it was sad to see how well they did taking control of that dragon pit shortly before the spawn of that soul, before really just giving front to back the window of opportunity they needed to put themselves back in the game. And I think they slowly close that down a little bit. They play slower, and Team Zone Control will be able to look to give Team Front to Back another run for their money in this game, too.
yeah,
Uh,
they just shot themselves in the foot.
yeah, and that's it. Not to focus too much on Team Jungle Control, because, of course, as I said, Team Front to Back found the ways back in the game and really kept up, stuck to their comp identity, even at points where it looked to not be the best. I just want to see, I think, most of the same from them. If Avon can on that Ezreal pick, it gives them the agency, scaling, and damage needed.
Hmm.
I think I would like to see TJ switch things up a little bit. But other than that, I think they have the comp. They have their front to back comp that works for them. And I'd love to see them run it back and see how they do.
Yeah, I'd like to see if Team Jungle Control, maybe with the side swap coming up, opts to take away that Ezreal in draft. It's an adaptation I'd really like to see, and then maybe ban two of A-Barn champs like last select, and see if you can force him onto something not so comfortable for him. And then maybe try and
Yep,
pick away the karma too for Matthias? I'm just not sure. I think there's a lot of ways you can get back into this series as Team Jungle Control though.
absolutely. I would like to see them drop that Kaisa ban. I simply don't think it efficient in the current meta and the current ADC pool that not only Abarn has been playing, but also what has seemed to be the best in the current state of League of Legends. Also, one thing we haven't talked about is, I mean, the patch dropped. A lot of items have changed. A lot of new items are in the game. Dare we see a hull breaker or chains being built? As I don't think any
Be
of the new
very
items were
exciting.
really built. would love to see their impact on a game outside of solo queue and see what their effect can be on a competitive environment.
Yeah, hope we can see that some of that in game two. But yeah, we're gonna take a little break for a little while, and we'll be back for game two shortly.
When I just saw them walking Madoff, I was like,
Okay, okay.
well, and we're back. Hopefully, just waiting for the next couple of minutes as we expectantly await this Game 2 champion select with all the passion two people playing TCL can possibly bring to the world. Which is to say, well, never mind. Well, looks like we should be getting underway shortly as both teams start to ready up.
Yeah, and
in
we'll see
second.
see what the draft adaptations are with Team Chungo Control being on blue side and Team Front to Back being on the red side. We'll see if the Ezreal ban comes out for Team Front to Back or if they kind of don't respect tactics as Ezreal. And I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But draft is getting underway.
It's underway now. I
Does
actually believe I would like. It depends. I don't actually think that Team Front to Back really focused on pushing their bot lane ahead, really letting Spirit and Abarn do it themselves rather than spend TJ's time on that bot side. So I think I wouldn't mind letting them possibly give over the nerfed Ezreal onto tactics, as it really is one of those other safer picks that, if they aren't looking to three-man punish, still lets them their own and look to get look to get what they want to prefer. But
Mhm.
we see Mordekaiser LeBlanc ban's standard follow-ups from last game both make sense, trying to
Yep.
shut down either champion
Other
comp
specialty
conditions, I
champion
would
for
say.
each player. Yeah.
Well,
Troll
and
being
Mordekaiser's a
obviously
strong
known for that
champion
LeBlanc.
overall. Controls LeBlanc being very well known, and from all the scrims that I've heard of, quite undefeated, I believe. And
Undefeated in scrims, really.
in all of one game that I know of, absolutely. Now we see the
Massive
blue
sample size.
side.
Blue side Ezreal
Blue side
ban.
Ezreal.
Oh, they don't play Ezreal. That's
Now,
tragic.
I mentioned that I was okay with Team Front to Back giving it over. That being said, I thought it would have been a great champion for tactics, being able to remain safe with the agency of looking to scale and farm a
Especially,
few.
especially
But
with that, your bot lane plays Ezreal Yumi. Name a more iconic
exactly,
duo.
I did think with the Yumi being a strong champion for Matthias that they might heavily consider it. But we see another, I guess, becoming classic band, or another
Yeah,
classic control champion so far this season with the Ziggs band coming out.
yeah.
That makes sense to me. Nothing
Obviously,
surprising
the
so
very,
far.
very, very infamous 62k damage, but
And
forgot to take
another
the win
Kai'Sa
with
band.
him.
Another Kai'Sa band coming out. I
Another
understand the
Kai'Sa ban.
respect. I
So
still do
it's
not believe it the most efficient ADC ban on the table, especially after the Ezreal.
and the Yumi ban for team front to back. They do not want Matthias back on his signature champ. They thought he played it well. And the
And there we
Lulu
go.
first pick.
I really like this so far. I think that where Matthias and Tactics have looked the best on so far is on that Lulu Kog'Maw, looking to scale. And honestly, I am surprised that they let such a safe bot lane support through when, at the very least, despite it being Matthias' most played champion, you
Oh,
can look to punish
please.
Yumi for
Please.
game
Oh,
before.
come on. Oh, I would have loved to
Varus.
see the Varus. The Varus is the most underrated area carry right now.
I
But
mean,
the
it's a
Lu
shame, yes, but Jinx comes through back with
the
another
Janna
A-Barn
Jinx.
comp.
Yeah, another player on Abarn. We'll see with the Karma being still up. But the Cog Lulu locked
There we
in and ready
go.
to go.
And that's why I really like the Lulu ban more than Yumi, not just because of the reasons I just said, but also because it really shuts down two champions. Banning that Lulu really prevents them from picking the Cogmaw, and now you've kind of given them their really comfortable strategy with just the Yumi ban. But it'll be interesting to see whether or not that looks as good as it did last time. I like A-Barn on the hyperscaling hyper carry. I'm surprised to an extent that they went with the Janna pick so early when Spirit did look pretty, in my opinion, strong in that Bard pick relative to some of his other performances. I guess
Mhm.
Abarn didn't like some of those tempered fate miscommunications, but overall I thought the champion very strong. So I'm surprised that
I
they let him
know.
run it
I
back.
Spirit was definitely impressive with some of those tempered fates post 15 minutes. I mean, he was really, really efficient about it.
His
And here we
roaming
go, the
didn't seem to punish
Wukong
Abarn. A lot of
coming out.
Wukong coming out for Bully, I can only assume, and that's where we're going to see some oh Wukong mid coming out, or
That would
TJ.
be interesting. That would be
But
interesting.
the blind pick into Tranimal,
Does Tranimal play a lot of AP tops? Does he
I
proficient in
mean,
the
just
Gwen?
play
But the
Cassiopea.
Tryndamere ban makes me think that
Interesting.
this is not a Wukong top.
It makes me think they did not, in fact, watch the last series. That being
Yeah,
said,
they
Tranimal's a
must
great
not.
friend. No flame to him. Just still respect it. But no, it's respect on Tranimal, and I do think it's something they should look for. Blind picking this Wukong. Nocturne band coming out. I like. I think Nocturne, as I have always said, is a very strong
With the
champion,
changes to
especially.
Stride Breaker as well, I tested it out. It feels honestly better than it did
I can only imagine. The
with
90%
the old
slow
Stride
for a
Breaker. Yeah, the
champion who has
90% slow pretty much nullifies Flash. I really actually would have liked to see Tranimal pick that Nocturne with a little Nocturne Jarvan combo into that
well, and
immobile Jinx.
I think what many people forget about Nocturne specifically is the fact that his spell shield duration gets refreshed during his R. So that it's basically during his R travel time. So it basically becomes a unstoppable unless you hit multiple CC. So layering it with the
Second he
Stride Breaker,
lands.
exactly. It's really strong backline access.
I
But I
also would have
agree.
liked to see the Nocturne RTP, the thing that has really, really shifted that top lane meta in terms of like teleporting in and having an instant impact. Before anybody can even TP in, you have an impact. No one can see anything. And the Zac coming out for
And
TJ.
some
Wow.
more adaptations coming out. You see the fact that Control and Company has elected for the Azir ban over this Silas, finally putting some of the respect on David's.
Yeah, they.
I like it. I don't think Silas was the biggest possible problem in the last Champions League, and I
Mhm.
like that they're looking to target him a little bit more.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the Azir he's a lot more proficient at, and the Vladimir. I'd
Looks to.
imagine top,
I imagine it goes top. No, okay,
and it's gonna
Gangplank
be
coming out.
mid with the Gangplank being picked right away. I'd like to see him build a Serpent's Fang on that, try and cut that Janna healing and shielding when she tries to Monsoon and put the Eye of the Storm on the onto Abarn.
I mean, overall, I. Oh, and here comes a Silas.
The
Caridian heard me
Silas
and is looking
pickup.
to prove me wrong. I think that it does look to be a much better pick after the last two picks of Team Jungle Control, with the Gangplank R and Vladimir R both looking to be impactful, from my understanding, and Lulu R. But he heard me, he's looking to prove me wrong, and I hope for it. I want to see Caridian pop off most played champion. That being
Yeah,
said, I like Team Jungle Control's comp. It's very straightforward. It's comfort picks for at least four of them, really. Tranimal's most played champion, hitting Diamond on his top lane last roll with a 60-something% win rate.
wow.
The Lulu Kog'Maw bot lane, strong, safe. I like it. Now, at the same time, Team Front to Back has very similar looking comp on paper with some heavy engage. You have the hyperscaling Jinx. My only slight concern would be that Janna feels a little bit awkward to me at first glance, seeing mostly that it doesn't really follow up on a lot of the engage that the rest of the comp is built around. Whereas Team Jungle Control, with the exception of Jarvan, really isn't looking to dive this backline anytime soon. They look to play front to back, whereas the Janna seems to be a little bit more difficult to pilot in such a way that will assist the front to back team fights that look to happen for both teams.
Yeah, I'm not terribly crazy about the Janna pick. I actually would like to see the Bard pick again, especially into
I
something like
agree.
the Cog Lulu.
Looking to set up the tempered face on two relatively immobile targets this time.
Yeah,
Whereas
exactly.
last time, he was finding them on the hypermobility of their last comp. I really like the idea of taking it again, running it back, and trying to find it on this much less mobile comp. But they've
Yeah,
elected for
no.
Janna. They think it's safer, more straightforward for Spirit.
Yeah,
And I
maybe a
expect
little more
great things from
comfortable
them
for
in this
them
as
to
well.
play. Maybe some of them they're more practiced on, but regardless, that is what they choose.
But Control's picking out a new champion. I haven't seen him on the Vladimir yet. I personally lost to a Vladimir today, so it tilts me looking at this. But I think the champion very strong because it
Yeah,
beat me,
that
and I
was in your
expect to
silver
see him come
promos,
out.
right?
Don't give me that much credit. I was still bronze 2 to bronze 1. Okay,
Nice,
I
nice.
got a little bit
I
more to
got
go.
demoted back to iron last night. It was a tough day at the office.
Uh, Sorry, I wanted to
Yeah,
say something, but I can't. As we look to
yeah.
get in the game, let's stop talking about my solo queue failures. Let's see, the Zac coming in again. While I don't want to harp on the fact that I think it doesn't have the best synergy with the Janna, there is at least the opportunity for the Tornado to follow up on the Zac engage.
Yeah, definitely. The Zach pick really is just a big question mark for me. I I've played the champion and I've seen others play the champion, and if it's left completely unchecked and no one ever tries to fight you unless you have 3 to 4 or just a number advantage with you, the champ just seems extremely weak in the 2v2.
Well, lucky for us, after saying they just let you farm, I do think that neither jungler really looked to pressure the other in the last game and force errors or punish pathing. So that being said, it does look like Zac can at least expect, or as of now expect, to be given that relatively
The
free
jungle
early game
handshake.
that you're talking about. And then I
Yeah.
think that in context of the front to back fight, it's going to serve its purpose. There isn't a Jano, ironically, on I say ironically because I think it's actually a support that would do pretty well if you necessitate the Cog Lulu at preventing Team Front to Back's fight. But
Yeah.
now we're harping on the channel, maybe perhaps a little too much. I don't know how the Silas Vladimir matchup goes.
I'd
Uh,
imagine it's Silas favored. I mean, sorry, not Silas. Vladimir favored,
well,
right?
early game, I expect Vladimir to.
Yeah, until levels 1 through 4, 1 through 5 on Vladimir. Obviously, yeah.
Well, I almost wonder if it's going to be a race to Grievous wins. Silas
I
does have
definitely
that
see it.
really strong level 1 with the E. I think that if Caridian wants control of the at the same time, what was giving me hesitation was the possibility of looking for a level 3 kill should he take the Ignite and let himself be pushed in. But it's actually Control who opts for the Ignite on Vladimir. I think both are fair, both have the Grievous or the healing in lane to make it valuable. And with that being done, I think that Caridian should look to pressure the first few waves and get that crash, but will likely let Control take control of the early game in that lane.
Vladimir opting for that Ignite. We'll have to. We'll see
Oh,
that level 6, level 7 window. Deceptively powerful.
and
Very
the
deceptively
level 1
powerful.
window looking to be extended as we get into our first pause of the match. Hopefully that gets settled out soon and that we don't need to wait too long for our predictions to go wildly astray.
Yeah,
There
it
we go,
looked
right
like
back into it.
TJ just reconnected. Probably some issues with the internet. And the base gates go down, and we are underway.
Another level 1, interesting start. I like to see it.
Looks
As
like a
much as
standard
I,
5 point
as much as
from.
I'm a proponent of the standard 5 point, I like to see teams mix it up.
Yeah. And it looks like they're going to do the same thing they did last game, where they
Oh,
scout out that early vision.
now this is important. Tactics, while standard, it is very important that he did the correct 5 point and stepped out of that tri bush. Otherwise, he might have been able to get surprised by that 5-man cheeky start to an invade.
Yeah,
But
no,
snips it
really
all
great
out.
positioning by
Back to it.
Tactics.
Now
Not being able to take down that blue horde.
it looks as if Team Jungle Control is going to come ahead from this, getting a little bit more of the deep vision. Whereas Team Front to Back really didn't manage to get vision in the jungle
Oh,
starting
but here
path.
we go. Looks like we're going to have a little scrap level 1, huh? Wukong with the Nimbus strike in, but Zac with the elastic slingshot. Looks like we've
And
just got
it's
Caridian's
just
Flash burn
Caridian's
level
Flash.
1.
Well, another win for
Ooh.
Team Jungle Control. I think they've won both on the vision of the starting early path, as well as, of course, the summoner coming out of Caridian. He's going to have to take that early reset, and it's going to see now Control has complete control. Oh, the early TP coming out from Caridian to make up for it. That's painful.
Interesting. That
The
is
level 1 TP.
brutal.
You hate to see the level 1 TP due to the cooldown scaling on levels. So that's going to be a 6.5-minute cooldown on that TP, I believe, is level
Yeah,
1.
that is. Ooh, that's brutal. You burn double summoners into Vlad early. This is just a free scaling ticket to heaven.
Ah, that is exactly what Team Jungle Control wants to see. But luckily for them, I do believe Caridian will be able to handshake the wave or lane in such a way that unless Garrett makes a proactive play, he'll be able to scale it out, if not find as good a recall time as he would otherwise. Stranimal taking a really strong level 1 trade up in the top lane, getting the priority of the lane, and pushing Bully down below half health in the first 2 waves of the game.
Yeah, that combo of Wukong Trial by Fire with the Grasp and the Plunder level 1, just brutal to fight that Gangplank early. I'd really like to see Tranimal. What a lot of the high-level Gangplanks do is just strictly using Parlay for, I believe, until you buy that Sheen, only onto the other laner, just to constantly bully them off waves and be able to pick up every CS's Gangplank early.
It reminds me of the old Vygar strategy where people would.
Oh, here we go, the
No,
Flash
here it
coming
comes.
out. Trial by Fire, not going to take down Reformed Bully, but it'll make him recall.
I must say that in almost every match I've seen on Stranimal, that he goes for these early kills, he so often misses it by 20 health. I must say, it's every time it looks like, or almost every time, but so often he looks to find these strong level 1 all-ins and just
Oh, here we
barely
go,
miss it.
Reformed Bully going back in.
And now, just like that, Bully's in a positive lane state, in my opinion. He's broken the freeze, but they would have forced TP for TP with little Garrett and TJ looking topside. I think it would have been Bully favored should the 2v2 have broken out near Scuttle.
Yeah, I would agree. But it looks like, oh, Control's going to be ganked at mid. Caridian, not a lot of mana. Here comes the pool. Q2 is up for Control. Is he going to go down? There's no flash to follow with Caridian. TJ's got to follow, and he's going to pick up the kill with the auto attack. Passive going to go out. Ooh, lives with just a sliver of health.
Control really greeting with that one. I think that holding the flash, especially when you
Oh, but
see
here we go.
Zac
Little Garrett has
continuing to
flash
wall.
advantage if he wants to pull the trigger.
Again, I don't think Little Garrett's going to look to make an aggressive play, knowing that TJ just stepped bot side without vision of him.
Yeah.
But Control greedy, holding on to the flash, despite Zac being relatively obvious with the step up that he might look to flash. I think you don't take the risky flash. but now he saves it, and again with flash advantage on Ceridian, can still look to punish it. So at the very least, that exists.
Yeah, but it looks like he's only got about another minute and a half window on Ceridian's flash, maybe a minute 20. So we'll see if he can really punish it. I don't think he won't be able to hit level 6 in time. So
No, but I
he,
can't take a look at this wave. I'm trying to see if mid looks to be frozen. You could force it with the little Garrett play, and it looks like it is just barely with the cannon minion. And oh, Cass was holding on. But yeah, of course, what we were being hinted at by production is the fact that Tranimal still retains complete control of this topside. He seems to be, for lack of a nicer word, crushing the early top lane with that early call and still keeping fully locked into his turret.
yeah, and the only thing I would have liked to see more was maybe little Garrett rushing up the top side to get that wave shoved in, so that Tranimal would have gotten to get a reset off without having to burn his TP into this lane.
I agree. I think it was a little awkward. I think though that Tranimal should not be in that situation, and that
Regardless.
there is the argument that the disruption to Little Garrett's early tempo on clearing could have made a little bit confusion over Scuttlecraft and other games. But I agree. I think it would have been nice to save that TP and keep it.
And here we go. We got TJ moving into the into that mid brush, but it looks like he's just clearing out a pink ward, retaining control in that. Maybe a potential 2v2 in the next couple minutes.
You know, Vladimir held on to the flash. I don't. Oh, we have a gank going down mid lane. Yeah, I don't really understand that gank. I think that you have another half a minute before that gank has to happen. The wave was slow pushing back to Ceridian. Vladimir, he held the flash. He has W. I think you finish your clear top side.
Nice trading with the Kingslayer there.
It
Winning
is,
out
but
on
of
this
course it's
lane.
still Vladimir. Vladimir's just going to look to heal back up with his powered Q.
Yep.
And go back to just farming.
Yeah. Would you have liked to see Ceridian opt for the fleet footwork, or do you think the Conqueror is optimal?
I think Conqueror is fine with the way this lane has played out so far. So I don't understand. I don't necessarily know what's in his mind when picking it, but I do think that should Vladimir really be looking to pressure the Sylas too much in lane, that the Zac does offer the unique gank pathings that should look to punish it. So if this were solo queue, and you could predict the ignite, so to speak, then I believe Fleet could have been good for sustain. But I think that every time Vladimir can look to punish Ceridian, he should be looked at by TJ for a potential punish.
Some nice powder kicks coming out from Tranimal in the top lane. He's built himself a deceiving 300 gold lead between the passive on his Q and that CS advantage he has built. So he's already got a kill advantage worth of gold in that lane.
Absolutely, and it looks like this wave's in a great spot for him as well. As he walks back to that lane, still sitting on 2 biscuits. Unfortunately, due to the nerf a couple patches ago, not going to be that useful.
Yeah, can't sell those for gold.
Unfortunately not. We can get a solid 10. That's always useful.
No legal tender here, sir. This is Monopoly money. As a
Both bot
tornado,
lanes-
just going to miss out by Spirit. Tactics and Matthias have been holding very strong in this lane for being the Kog'Maw Lulu. You know, this is exactly what you want to see. But here we go. TJ might be coming to punish. See if they can burn some flashes. Elastic slingshot. Oh, it's only going to catch Matthias.
He could have walked back.
He's going to go
he
down to
chose come out.
Spirit of Fate by proxy of the Ignite.
Once again,
Oh,
securing
Abarn missed the
kills.
cannon. Misses the kill and then the cannon. That is a tough one. But they got the kill. And it
They
looks
get
like
the-
they're
looks
going
like
to
they're
take
gonna
this first
transition
dragon
it.
of the game.
They're going to transition into the dragon, once again starting that snowballing soul win condition. This time, Ocean coming out early, which for an early dragon in laning is going to be the most valuable you can get. Unfortunately, that does mean that with Zac and Wukong, you will not be looking at that Ocean Soul just to amplify the massive amount of healing you already have in your account coming out from
I
side.
feel like Control and Little Garrett may have been able to posture to try and at least slow that objective down. They would have come back with a Lulu on map and maybe been able to fight with a summonerless Janna.
I think it's difficult seeing the vision control coming out from Team Front to Back.
Yeah, no, they've got a whole
And the
ring of
early
vision
game
in that
Kog'Maw.
jungle.
I respect the idea that despite it being a strong first Drake, it is still only a first Drake. And with the Vladimir Kog'Maw win condition of scaling, they're not going to risk anything else happening.
Yeah, Ocean Drake obviously being the strongest early dragon value-wise.
Kog'Maw
Restoring. Oh,
finally-
but here we go. We got a flash into the Kingslayer. Oh. If Doug Percent is going to land, here comes the Cyclone from Wukong. Bully going to take down Tranimal, but trade a kill back by way of the turret. Oh, and the Lulu
Wow,
going to go
plays
down
happening
from
cross
Matthias.
map.
Wow.
Blue falls back again.
No break. Here we go, TJ, elastic slingshot under the tower. Stretching strike, and Abarn's gonna pick up the double kill. But here we go, little Garrett. Don't think there's much you can do here.
Control shoving mid, I think it's a possibility he can look to have rotated, but with the TP still on Caridian, I think they're perfectly safe. This is fine, he's grabbing plates mid, looking to get what he can.
Oh, and little
Good
Garrett, you
rotation.
might be in danger.
And he's just going to take the
Oh,
EQ out.
nice tornado out from Spirit. Abarn not having the
flash.
super mega. Oh, Spirit?
Ooh. Well, technically, with it being an execute, this is all according to plan as Abarn grabs solo lane EXP,
And
and
solo
they
pulling
force little Garrett
EXP.
Flash. The
True.
genius coming out of Spirit to really BM the enemy by dying to a turret while still finding advantages for his team. No laughing
Yeah.
matter. Abarn being intelligent enough to know that it's an execute and holding heal.
Also,
Again, the
genius.
massive amount of
You know?
calculations are truly out of,
Both
beyond my
teams
comprehension.
really impressing so far. Just from the mental
Unfortunately-
warfare standpoint.
Unfortunately, talking about Hell Summoners being a good idea, I can't say the same for how I've seen this exhaust on tactics being up in both of the last two Lulu decks and ganks. I think that I would
Somehow
have liked
not
to
getting
see it come out.
used.
Well, I mean, I
Yeah.
think that he seems to save it for when he's going aggressively, which I think is fine. But when you're looking for this early scaling, I think you should really just look to use it preemptively and make sure that you guys do not make any mistakes that would cost you your really strong late game.
Tranimal has been bullied into submission and opting for that Triforce up top lane as well.
Now, I would love to know your thoughts on the Tank Kog'Maw build coming out. I know it's very strong. What do you think of the early MR coming out for the Wits End? I understand you build to it, but
I think Wits
don't know
End,
how I
Wits
feel.
End in that build is pretty much the de facto rush.
the complete item,
Personally-
yes. The early game MR.
Yeah, I would have liked to see him move towards a boots too. With
I think
that
so.
Negatron cloak combination being around 900 gold, it would have been awesome to see a boots too on tactics so he could maneuver around as a Kog'Maw a little bit more. But
Now,
elastic
it
slingshot
does
coming
delay.
out for TJ into the stretching strike, but
look.
nothing else to grab onto. So little Garrett's just gonna get to walk away with his Gromp.
TJ's really taking control of this early game. While they both seem to match pathing quite evenly, TJ has done multiple games across the board that
Yeah, TJ's had a hand in
Have
everything
worked.
this game.
have worked. And I'll leave it at that. They have worked.
True.
Now, I say that, dude, that I think some of them could have been avoided and some greedy summoner spell hold has enabled it, but TJ finding those ganks and the angles has been very impressive at getting his team this early game advantage they currently have. 2k gold at
Yeah,
11 minutes.
ooh, a nice little double tornado coming out into the zap from Jinx. Just some nice little trading. So this CS advantage has ballooned to 10 in the bot lane.
Just
Still
as
not a...
Animals balloons to almost 30 in the top lane. But he lacks those 2 kills, or he lacks the 1 kill, I guess, with the one of his own that would match Avon.
Tranimal's sitting on around 1100 gold right now. I believe he's taking out this next wave and he'll be backing for these Triforce.
I mean, it
So
looks okay. Here
I'd be
comes the
surprised
barrel.
to not see him shove
looks-
this next wave.
No, yeah, it looks like he's going to shove the next wave with how he's still pushing this one. I almost think he could have looked to crash this early, one wave earlier, but
Yeah, but
Still
you're
so
kind
respectable.
of falling into limbo here in the no man's land of now you kind of want to finish your coal before you back, and you kind of greed for that. You're missing the front minions, and you're gonna miss the back line too. Oh,
and it was at the same time, it's in part due to the fact that Dragon's up in 20. I think that backing around 35 seconds ago in the last crash would have pushed Bully top and probably looked to force his TP to drag, whereas especially
Bully.
now, Tranimal is going to be the one having to TP or be late, but still taking half health Bully.
Bully getting chunked before this next dragon though could be pretty bad. It could be a window for team control to get back in this.
There
Both
is
of
the
them
fruit
obviously
up.
having TPO.
I would
No
think
flash for Reform Bully as well, so it's going to be difficult for him to find those cyclones unless he's really gifted a ticket to the back line.
his flash seems to be up soon, but I would like to see him TP very early. I think he's already late on
Little
this play.
Garrett?
With the fruit being up, he could. Oh,
Yeah,
so
I'd
he
like to
still
see him
needs be
TP to
crashed.
this control where the control's hitting right now, just to create a wall or just a zoning. But looks like
Oh, but it looks like they're giving it up.
front to back just pulls the trigger on the dragon. We got
I
Nurse
can't
Soul
say
yet
I'm
again.
a fan currently of that decision-making process from Team Sun Control, as the fact goes that Tranimal lost out on a decent amount of tempo, giving up, I think, 2 free plays at the top lane, missing bot wave and mid wave to essentially waste some time posturing a dragon. But here comes a looking for a dive. Little Garrett shows, and if oh,
Oh,
channeling the
oh,
Zaki, nothing can come from it.
control going for an all-in, and yet again, kind of just falling short in the mid lane. Caridian kind
It's
of getting the better of him.
it's seconds like this where Caridian is likely kicking himself for taking TP over Ignite, as that would have almost certainly been a kill. But of
Oh,
course,
but
he
the
can't do
double
that.
elastic slingshot into stretching strikes. Super Mega Death Rocket takedown tactics. Oh, but they're all trapped in the Cataclysm, but the Monsoon's healing so
Ooh.
much. Oh, the Cell Division popped by Zac, and he should be okay.
Perfect use of the Zac passive on the timing of that third kill, making sure Abar doesn't have any chance of taking that aggro.
Yep.
I believe it's just after 14 plates have just fallen, so they guarantee the first turret taken. And now this is exactly what you don't want to see from Team Jungle Control. Abar on the Jinx coming out with a 4-0 lead. First turret taken at 14:30.
Yeah, already a 500 gold shutdown, and controlling Caridian getting aggro. Caridian picks up the. Oh my goodness.
Solo kill on Control with that TP Ignite disadvantage. I believe that this is really a strong swing from Caridian. And like I said, proving me wrong.
Just the
This is
chain
why you
lash
guys
from
guys-
Caridian picking up the kill.
And what I think it really comes down to is the fact that Caridian opted for the early Grievous wounds that we were kind of talking about in Champ Select,
Yep.
whereas Control didn't. And I think that without the early anti-heal, the fact that his Ignite was already on cooldown, I believe, that he shouldn't be looking for these.
Now Caridian with that
Possible
advantage
trade.
looking to counter jungle. Little Garrett too. TJ's gonna start building a pretty nice lead just from his mid laner doing good.
Now the vision control from Team Front to Back is really strong. Look at that bot side.
Yeah, that
jungle
bot
lit up
side
like a Christmas
quadrant.
tree. But at the same
Oh.
time, I would perhaps hold the opinion that's a relatively current inefficient use of vision. As you rotate that bot lane to the mid or top and try to take control of that Rift Herald, I would certainly like to see that vision moved up into the jungle, at least until the Rift Herald's taken and bot lane rotates mid for the next dragon.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. But Spirit just coming off the reset, so he has those wards. I'd really like to see him move into this top side with Jinx and maybe the Silas, and then just retake vision control as he's spotted out on that ward. Little Garrett just kind of doing nothing.
Kind of
thought he
dancing
would-
in the river, looking
Yeah.
to get vision control, looking to make sure that Tranimal's safe in this push as he steps up. And I mean,
Little
overall,
Garrett walking in for a face check into the Janna. The tornado's gonna land.
but Control sitting behind him
Oh,
somehow
the
sneaking
control
his way
with
in
a
there.
interesting flank. But here comes the elastic slingshot. Control dodges out with the sanguine pool.
And once again, after an intense little seconds of skirmishing, both teams walk out on Scav.
Yeah.
Reform Bully looking to
Control
rotate.
starting to Rift Herald. Let's see what
Certainly
we
an
have
interesting
here.
look. I don't think they have the strength to do this at the moment. I think that it would be
Not at all.
Difficult.
Reform Bully on a potential Blast Cone flank mission here.
and back to farming it looks. I would like to
Yeah.
see A-Barn start the Rift Herald on his own. Look at take this as it seems to be.
Oh, Little Garrett EQs over the wall.
Did he see TJ sitting in that bush or walk
I'm
into
not
it? I guess
sure,
not.
but again, nothing. The Bio
So yes,
Arcane Barrage,
I
but
do
not a little
I
bit of
do
poke.
feel that Team Jungle Control has lost their proactiveness in the recent couple of minutes and really have been relatively aimlessly responding. I suppose they were looking for the proactive plays topside.
Oh, but the elastic slingshot, stretching strikes, pulls back Matthias von Wells. Oh, the Let's Bounce into Cyclone, maybe a little too much to. Oh, Tactics is just gonna pick up a kill.
A strong Gangplank ulti coming in. Now, see, A-Barn did pull that Rift Herald and is placed at top. It looks like he'll get at least 2. I would like to see Spirit be a little bit less tied to A-Barn. Perhaps if he had roamed to that fight, it would be a little different situation. But it has happened the way it
Little
has.
Garrett about to walk
a
into
good
A-Barn
start.
here. Oh, the EQ's gonna land, but he has Cataclysm. Let's see if he's gonna cast it. He's gonna have them trapped inside. A-Barn has no flash. Control moving in with the Sanguine Pool. Empowered Q. Let's
If
see,
he
I
can
just
find the
don't think
shutdown,
Control
it
has
would
the
be-
damage
It's
onto
gonna be
A-Barn here.
difficult. He does have the Empowered Q coming up in about a second or
Super
two.
Mega Death Rocket goes
Flash
wide.
beat,
Flashed in by Control. Q should be up
And
any
it's not
seconds.
enough.
Oh, but he just falls short.
And it's not enough. Unfortunately, that would have been a strong way for Control to find his ability to carry this game with the massive shutdown on A-Barn.
A-Barn a little
Unfortunately
bit
for
of
him,
BM with the emotes there.
it's just not enough. And now we see Team Jungle Control in a really difficult situation
Yeah.
to be in.
Waves being lost. Everyone getting XP and gold leads.
Down 7k gold. in 18
7K at 19 minutes is it's a little difficult to come back from that with Lulu Cog. I know Lulu Cog's pretty strong, but I don't know if you come back from that as Lulu Cog.
And then the icing on the cake is the Earth Soul. which I personally believe is super powerful when you have such a lead, due to the fact that it really cuts down their teams on even finding these X possible team fights. It really just makes sure that you are a lot safer than you necessarily would be.
Yeah, the ultimate insurance policy, so to speak. It's
See
like
little Garrett taking a
little scrap there with Reform Bully. I'm not
little
sure
bit
if
of
you
a
want a
laugh.
piece of him. But the Warrior Trickster from Wukong basically means he's not going to lose any 1v1 to him.
Oh,
The
Peridian
stolen
really putting
hijacks Cataclysm onto Matthias. This is a little bit out there from Caridian.
classic
Tactics
Caridian.
picks up the kill, but TJ's on this backline. Oh, and the Wukong. Oh, they tag team the backline and Tactics goes down. A lot of healing coming out from Control. Triple barrel from Tranimal. Trial by fire. Reform Bully. He's going to go down to that plunder finally. But TJ should have that elastic slingshot back up and be able to get away quite easily. But a triple kill for Reform Bully in that fight.
Luckily for Korea, their team has such an advantage that plays like that still end up working well. That being said, it was a split focus and relatively the riskiest play they could have made.
When the
but I
powder
think
kick
that
barely
that play
lands.
not going to mean much, unfortunately. I think that the last play really shows the difficulty that Team Jungle Control is going to have going back into this game. As I think you're not going to find too many opportunities where players are willing to engage 1v5 before Baron and Soul make this game just
Unwinnable.
they just close out. Unwinnable. I hate to say the word, but at this point, it's looking like it would take a miracle play from Control, Tranimal, or a 50-minute Kog'Maw Lulu to have bringing this back under their control.
The Serpent's Fang being picked up by Tranimal to cut out that shielding from the side of Team Front to Back. Excuse me. But this Baron just going to go down uncontested. And Little Garrett might pay for it with his life. Zap lands. He just gets auto attacked to death.
It's hard to comment on that in any situation due to the fact that this lead is so insurmountable at the moment that a miracle Baron steal might have been their first step back. But it's a little late, gonna pay for it. And now you're gonna see the slow siege begin. And perhaps this focus, no, the bully's just gonna be safe. Yes,
Four
this is
bullies
gonna be
on
very
mastery
difficult.
level 5 on Wukong. It's very impressive. It's quite difficult to attain that rank. We all know mastery level 5 is the highest you can attain on any champion. Oh, and
Luckily-
the hijacked.
Luckily for Bully, oh, here comes the dive.
Oh, but straight
TJ.
onto Matthias, Caridian and TJ just one-shotting him. A-Bar moving onto the backline, just obliterating the health bars with that damage and the Kraken Slayer. Oh, flash into the base. Looks like it's going to be a
That
triple
was
kill
fine.
for A-Bar.
And the story of this game, TJ, Zach, and Gage is really enabling his entire team to just pull A-Barn to free auto. Really, no, just A-Barn to free auto, just clean up everyone, really. I mean, this is the A-Barn TJ show, in my opinion. The rest of the team doing fantastically well. Caridian finding the solo kill and control. But really, this insurmountable lead that we discussed came from this bot lane. Snowballing this first turret, grabbing, I believe, 4 plays pre-14.
TJ
Just
pulling out some
minor.
impressive ganks, finding windows that didn't look like they were there, but oh, I do not think we are finished.
Well, we can never have too much fun, as TJ and A-Barn are saying in their comms right now. It looks as if he will retain the Baron.
Executed.
Yeah, it looks like
And
he's
it
just
would
going to
be
sneak away.
Time
Does
for
not
one
look
more
like the living
siege.
artillery is going to take him down. Oh, Little Garrett, you're going to have to undo that build, my friend. You are still trapped in the Shadow Realm.
You are, in fact, it
not
looks as
done
if... It looks as if... Is he playing the game, I hate to imply. But he has not yet undone the build. Oh, there it comes. Okay.
Yes, we are moving back in. Oh,
Wait me for a second.
oh. So I believe he ran into the issue
5,000
where
gold
if you buy elixirs, you can't undo those purchases you made, buddy.
Oh, you are right. He was unable to. Icing on the cake for this game seems to be the fact he is unable to undo his purchases, and will conclude this game.
I
to
believe
the
that
best of
super
his
minion
ability.
that Control was just fighting there might be able to 1v1 Little Garrett at this stage of the game if he doesn't smite it both charges.
15 seconds will be a long fight. Now we see this final push come out. I'm almost surprised they're looking for this third inhibitor instead of just grouping 5 down mid. But better safe than sorry, I suppose.
Yeah.
Although I find it hard to be sorry.
Dare I say slightly BM.
Dare we say, dare we say.
Dare I say. But looks like
A-Barn.
a 5-man Cataclysm coming out and just eviscerates the entire team.
And there it is. This game has now, with one more push, been concluded. Not much more to
And
say. Fantastic game coming out
finally,
from
the
Abar and
inevitable
from
has been
TJ.
complete.
And it happens. Spirit once again silently being strong. I saw your vision score in this game as well, my friend. Once again, I believe doubling everyone else in the game.
Is above
Well played from
average.
Bully. Well played from Bully to keep the gangplank to a lesser lead than might have been done. Ceridian finding the solo kills, just really strong performance all around. Unfortunately, we see the
Ooh,
difficulties coming out in the jungle. A
the
little bit
damage
unfortunate,
graphs.
cannot lie.
Those are brutal.
Those are a little bit unfortunate, but not as unfortunate as being unable to redo the items you sold. Yep.
Yes.
Overall, I mean, Abarn obviously looking like the front runner for any MVP conversation. I would throw TJ in it there for his game two performance, but the Thornmail itself alone as an item choice in game one really pushes me to
May
Abarn. That being
yeah.
said, Ceridian could be an option with him finding the solo kills. But once again, his eagerness on Azir perhaps
A little overzealous in
a
that
little
game one
overzealous.
especially. Game two, he had a little bit of a hiccup as well, but not nearly the game one.
Especially with the lead they had. It was understandable why he would look for it. Find the solo kill, strong performance. But A Barn definitely coming out as front runner for MVP in my mind.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Strong performances both games. Obviously carrying damage both games. I'd hope so when your team plays around you, but nonetheless, it's not as easy as people think to be able to just play so well with all the resources invested in you.
Doubling the damage. Yes, that'd be great. If we can get A Barn in for an interview, that would be fun. Maybe we can look to flame him a little bit. I mean, completely congratulate him on his win.
Hey, Barn. Great games one and two. Really, being that consistent DPS source for your team on both the Ezreal and the Jinx. Personal favorite champions? Ezreal or Jinx?
Jinx easy. Ton of fun games. We were looking for that Jinx Janna, and we kind of knew that we banned that Yumi. He's going to go straight into Lulu, and that's just winning. So no, it was a lot of fun. It was a really good series, though.
I mean, really
So
well played. I have to congratulate your mental strength here for a second. Finding the win in game one through what looked like a much closer, more difficult game, and then turning around to absolutely blow this one out of the water on
yeah,
all fronts.
15K gold advantage at the end. Just stomped on their throats. It was brutal the entire way through that game too.
Well, I tell you, and I love my team to death. They're awesome players, but playing with TJ is like it's a race of how much gold advantage you can get before he ints it under tower every game. And that happened game one. It happened a couple times game one. We came back. We got it might have been the Baron fight or the Dragon fight. I don't remember what kind of turned it around there, but I think after that happened, we kind of had a moment where we're kind of getting a little tilted, and I think maybe it was Bully or something. Like, yo, let's get out of this. We're good. We're still in the game, and I think the mental came back, and we went for it, and we won.
So
It was
this
well
this
played.
is this is a safe space. Were any of the Bard R's tilting in game one?
Spirit has literally been complaining that we're not letting him play Bard all season, and so we just kind of decided to let it rip. I gotta say those weren't it. Those definitely weren't it. I think he was a little too amped up
Uh,
for 40 people to be watching him play Bard. But you know what? Um, the lane worked. He got to spend a lot of time mid. Whether that was for a good thing or a bad thing. But yeah, that's what you get with Spirit. He's gonna
well,
press the R. He's gonna press the R button. You just got to figure out how to play around it.
I gotta say, I have a follow up question on that note. Was the decision to not run the Bard back in game two a result of not enjoying how it played against the enemy, or not enjoying how you played with it? That's my
Oh,
bigger question.
yeah, I'm memeing. I'm memeing. We actually really like the Bard. We played a bunch of them early. The reason we didn't want to run it back is because we wanted to take the Jinx because it wasn't banned, and I personally don't really like that lane. I think that there's a lot of better things that play with my style of Jinx, and Janna was that
Gotcha.
there. So that was pretty much it.
And that's absolutely fair. Again, like absolutely, I agree. Spirit had an incredibly strong Bard performance. I'm happy that his first game, wanting to prove himself on the pick, I believe it's his first game,
It
really
was.
came out strong
Yeah, showed up
and
very strongly.
was key in that second half of the game, hitting R's that really did have a much more positive impact than, as you said, some of the earlier ones in the game.
Yeah,
But
hidden
very strong
impact
pick
with those
overall.
vision scores too.
Exactly
Yeah,
as you
yeah.
point out,
Let's
doubling it.
let's
Insane.
not let's not talk about my vision score game one. My job is to press Q and do damage.
I saw it was sub double digit. Again, this is a safe space.
It
We
was
don't
pretty
we don't
bad.
we don't do judging here.
No, you can judge me. You can judge me all I want. No, listen. I mean my team, but we came together today. Dudes played really really well. I think we were a little concerned. We came off of last week with a little bit of tilt, and we just got our asses kicked. And that's pretty much the way you got to turn it around and look really convincing for the rest of the season. So I'm happy. I hope everyone here enjoyed watching those games. They were a lot of fun to play, and thank you guys for the awesome production work as well.
Yeah,
Of
definitely.
course, we
Great
try.
bounce
Thank
back
you.
from last week. Really like to see those coming back from an 0-2 and just 2-0ing another team it's a great way to bounce back.
It is. It is absolutely.
Well, thank you, A-Barn. I would wish you good luck, but, well, I don't. So I'd like to see you eventually lose to me in playoffs at some point in there. But good luck until then, I suppose. Great bounce back, and I hope you and your team have a fun time reviewing what should be a fun set of games.
Thank you guys so much, and thank you to all the viewers who watch this. Have a good night, guys.
Good night.
Thanks.
See ya.
And that will conclude things on our end as well. I hope you've
Yeah.
enjoyed this somewhat weekly, somewhat daily presentation of high level League of Legends gameplay and only the best quality that we can
And that'll
provide.
wrap things up. Thank you guys for all staying positive and not saying anything toxic or negative about any of the players in this game.